Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. This is your host, Shades. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Let's talk about the stock market, specifically Sound Stock. Sound Stock, I have a theory that Sound Stock here, despite Nvidia selling it off, you can see that Sound Stock follows Nvidia very well. The only time there's a disconnect between the two, in terms of SoundHound following Nvidia's share price movement, is around earnings, which, if one has good earnings and the other one has bad earnings, whatever the case may be, there tends to be a disconnect. But eventually, it all comes back together. It all starts following one another. If that's the case, if my theory is true that SoundHound is just going to follow NVIDIA's share price, then inevitably, when things turn around, there's potential for a lot of money to be made buying SoundHound over NVIDIA. NVIDIA, when it goes back to highs from 100 to 150, that's a nice 50%er. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's safer technically because it's a established company that's been around for decades, and that just keeps going up. SoundHound, on the other hand, it's got a lot of potential still, but it's still, technically speaking, a risky stock. Yeah, it doesn't have the decades of history that Nvidia has. So we can still take advantage though of the market's movement as a whole. If you haven't noticed, the market as a whole right now is just moving up and down together. Some of these stocks they're going down even though they're performing better year over year, quarter to quarter. So that doesn't make sense, right? You think about that for a second, like, wait a minute, that's right. It keeps like Soundhouse is doing really well, and it's got so much going for it, and so much more coming in 2025, and yet the stock is just tanking. That doesn't add up. So eventually, when we go into that next bull run cycle, it's going to be the easiest money ever made. Even right now at $8, I did add at 850, I believe, if I recall. 400 shares. I didn't add anything big. I do plan on adding more. I'm gonna wait to see what happens with quote unquote Liberation Day tomorrow. But if this drops, we should see like 6 to 650, and I'll look to add another 400 shares. I'm just gonna start accumulating it because I believe this one will follow the markets. It will follow specifically Nvidia's, what I care about, and if it does so, if my theory is correct, then we should see this back above 10. So even from $8 to $10, it's a nice 23% move. The cheaper this gets, the better. If this thing moves back to 13 or even 16, it's just going to be the easiest 100% plus gains. But you have to be willing to sit on the position. You have to be patient. You have to be disciplined. And you have to be buying the good ones. A lot of people had to choose between SoundHound and Serve Robotics after they got sold off. Some people have this foolish idea that, oh, Serve Robotics it's a robotics company, so it's clearly better than an AI company. But they're both AI companies. The difference is SoundHound is actually outperforming Serve in terms of the bottom line, in terms of numbers. So if I had to choose between one or the other, if you just look at the financials alone, SoundHound is superior, performing way better in terms of the bottom line. And people love Wall Street loves the bottom line. That's why Palantir has gone from where it was at $5 to 125. So I'm banking, and I'm betting on SoundHound in the future, eventually making a decent move back to 25 at minimum, which from where it is right now, that's a 3x. But you have to be willing to hold. You have to believe that it will come back up to those highs, just like you have to believe that the market as a whole will eventually go into another bull run. If you don't believe that, then you're just gonna, I don't know, you're just gonna keep buying and selling off at a loss or flipping for pennies. When all you have to do is just accumulate as it goes lower. And then when we have that big bull run cycle, you're gonna see the all-time highs on the good ones. I've seen this so many times. This is why I'm telling people, be patient, be disciplined. Buy nice and cheap. It's at a massive discount right now. That's why I started buying at the $8 range, because I'm like, well, it's over 50% off at this point. It's at 1/3 of the price from highs, from 24 to $8. Like, what? Why wouldn't I love? Please give me another discount, Mr. Trump. I love you. If you're gonna give me Trump discounts, Trump pump, no, Trump dump. We get to buy nice and cheap, and then it goes back to highs. I think someone said this. I don't know who said it, but there's speculation that Trump is causing the market to fall on purpose, so that when 2026, I think 2026 midterms come around, the market will be pumping, and then he can make himself look good and be like, "See, guys, everything's going great." So it gets ugly at first, and then everything it's gonna look good when we're in the bull market of 2026. Is the assumption. That's what people are assuming. This isn't me saying this. This is just what I've heard. That's a strategy, the Trump strategy of, okay, it's going to be ugly at first, but hey, going into 2026, I'm going to look good because everything's just going to be pumping. Everything's going to be looking good in terms of the economy and everything. So short-term pain for a longer-term gain. Let me put it that way. So if that's correct, then well, I hope not, because that also implies that we're gonna be and yeah, that implies we're gonna be in a bear market for quite a while, and then maybe 2026 is the bull run. That's kind of what the implication there. Let's hope that's not the case, but if it is, hey, let's continue to buy nice and cheap here. And if you guys know the strategy, you know what to do. It's time to accumulate. It's time to buy. Hold for the big bucks. Do not flip for these 20-30% gains. Hold it for the big 100% minimum. The whole point of a bear market is to take advantage of the cheap stock. And then in a bull market, we have a massive run where stocks do the opposite. They just keep going up, keep going up. There's dips along the way, it keeps going up to new highs. Dips along the way, it keeps going up, rinse and repeat. And it's just euphoria all over again. It's greed all over again. There's no fear. People just keep buying. It keeps going up higher and higher, and you just make the easiest money of your life. And you're not flipping for those 10-20%. You're like, nah, I'm holding for that $24 range at minimum, 16, so you get that 100%. Even 50% is good. I think too many people, they go into the markets with the expectation of trying to get rich quick, or they see that they're up 10% and they just sell too soon. It's either one or the other. They sell too soon, or there's other people who see the stock go up like 10x and they don't sell because they're so greedy. They want 20x, so they hold it all the way back down to their average. So you got to find a right balance here. You got to find the right balance. Have those targets and respect them. So if you buy around 8, I would say if you're gonna flip like a flipper, I mean that $10 target ain't bad. You're gonna make about 20%. But if you're like me and you want the bigger bucks, if you want at least 50%, hold it for $12 because if it breaks out here, we're going to 12. So that's a nice 50% right there. So you put 10K, you make a nice 5K. 20K, you make a nice 10K, etc., etc. And this is one of the good ones, which is why I'm talking about it. I rarely talk about trash stocks, and it's rare that I set a stop loss because my strategy, if I used a stop loss, I would just get destroyed. The strategy hinges on the stock, on the company being constantly growing its bottom line, constantly performing, and I mainly focus on what? AI, robotics, because that's what's hot. That's what will continue to be hot in the future. And that's why, if you believe that the AI revolution is here and we're going to see machines everywhere in the future, you're getting in early still, in my opinion. And at cheap prices, at a massive discount right now. Be thankful for these big discounts. This is a big opportunity, and that's why I'm looking to buy at least 50K worth of shares of SoundHound. I'm just going to average down, at dollar cost average, I guess, however you want to call it. So I'm looking to make at least 25K off of this play. So a 50% move. I'm content with 25K. I'm never going to complain about money. 25K is, I think that's what a McDonald's worker makes, right? In a year? Yeah, I think so, right? 15 times 4. No, 15. Don't they make 15 an hour now? So 15 times 40, 600. 600 after taxes. Let's say they keep 500. That's 2,000 a month. 20. Yeah, that's 20. Really? Yeah. So I'm okay with that. A McDonald's employee has to work 40 hours a week for 52 weeks just to make 24K over the course of a year. Well, after taxes, it's less, actually. So I'm going to make that in one trade. I'm never going to complain about making 24K. There are people who are ridiculous. They're like, no, I want more. I want 240K. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know what is it with people being irrational in the markets. But you are not irrational. You know how to play the game. Let's make this money. I'll see you guys in the next one.